Welcome back, everyone, to What a Load of Bowls, brought to you by the Bowls Academy. We're up to episode number 23 by my count, but Simon will double-check that later. With that, unfortunately, we bring some good news and bad news. The bad news we'll start off with Simon Little's back again for another week. Hello, Simon.
DJ, how are we this week?
Good, mate. And on to the good news. DJ's here to carry Simon along like he has done for the last 22 episodes.
Good on you, DJ.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Righto, so mate, we finished off last week with talking about what we had coming up, and we had some regional events on at the weekend. You went triples, defending champions, and we went fours, defending champions. How did you fare, mate?
Did not fare as good as you did, DJ.
No,
sadly.
Spoiler alert.
Sadly, we got absolutely belted, DJ, on the Sunday. It was one of those days where you walk off the bowls green and the bowls could easily go in the bin.
Yeah, righto.
One of those games, DJ. We've all had those, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. More often than not, unfortunately.
Yeah, you've had enough of bowls and that's it. Never playing again, all that.
Who was that against, buddy?
Tough day on the green. That was against Jay Bruce, Callum Murray, and Jack Lewis.
So not a couple of nobodies, some good players.
Not a couple of nobodies, yes.
But you can't afford a bad day against good players again, can you?
You can't, no. Sadly, we had a bad day on the green, DJ. But
yeah,
we had a good day on Saturday, but yeah, that didn't roll into Sunday. So sadly, we got put out, and that was a quarterfinal stage. So yep.
The old favourites tag was a bit heavy on you.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, righto, mate. Righto.
But you had a better weekend than I did, so
sure did, mate. Sure did. A bit of a disruptive week leading into it, but it was good to get out there a couple of times with the old TBA targets, mate, and have a bit of a practice. Yeah. You know, Michael Beaumont's watching intently, mate, to see how often I'm using them now. So he's pretty happy that I'm there. But I tell you what, I wasn't particularly happy with the roll up on the Wednesday. Friday came out a bit better. Saturday morning, absolute. I had no feel. So we were playing. It was terrible. So luckily we built into it. But yeah, the first round was a bit dicey. We only got up there 15-14 against some guys from our club.
Ooh,
So yeah, they were playing their eye strings. They were playing really, really well. We battled along, but as a good team, we didn't really Mick was probably the best of the three of us, but got us out of trouble a couple of times. But it wasn't anything like ridiculous 6 and 7s down. If there was always two of us had something in there pretty close. The skip against us had a pretty good game. We were 5 up with 2 to play. Held a 5 on the tee, and he killed it. Replayed the end, got a 2, so they needed 3 on the last end, and you know they had 2 close, and we just peppered it around it, didn't play any shots to try and change it, and they got a 2 for us to go up by 1. So that was at home at Club Maitland City, and then we made the lovely trek up the road to Scone.
Scone, yes,
up in as Tristan Wells likes to tell me, up in God's country there, up in the Upper Hunter.
I
don't mind the drive up there.
I've played on Scone Green actually, DJ.
Have you?
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. When was that?
It was a good couple of years ago. I was up there for work, DJ, and brought the bowls with me and had a roll up one day. Yeah,
in all honesty, mate, they tend to struggle for the surfaces up there. They're all only really small clubs in the Upper Hunter, but Scone did quite well. They went downhill a bit there a couple of years ago. I went and played a tournament up there, and I couldn't believe just how bad they were. In all honesty, and I'll openly say that. They still were very, very tricky on the weekend. Very tricky. I don't think too many tiffies run that narrow at times. But it was still playable, but it's easy to say that when you come away with a winner. So, yeah, we knocked off a Curry side in the semi-final, and then the big guns in the final. Who led up? Cody Griffin led up, and Craig Barber at second, Aaron Appleby at third, and Jay Barry Norris. Aaron Appleby and Jay Barry took out the pairs a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
But myself, Dylan Riley, Brody Pitham, and Mick Cronin were just a bit too much for them on the day. Tight game. It was a tight game the whole way through, and then we just sort of stretched our legs a bit towards the end. Got a couple of results to go our way. Get ultimates. Nothing lucky out of it. Just you played a shot, you got the ultimate result out of it. And Jay kept the minute early. Aaron Appleby, he had me worried in the first 5 ends. Man, I thought he'd turn back the clock. Brody's got the jack in the ditch. He's sitting a foot from it, and we nearly lost the 2 because of Aaron Appleby. Drew to the lip. I'm just looking, going, I haven't seen this for a few years. I think
it's going to be a long day if that continues,
Yeah. Luckily, he just started dropping off a little bit. By no means fell away. He just sort of dropped off to give us a bit of a glimpse. And I think credit to the team, obviously, but I think me and Dylan set a good platform playing leading 2. It was always good, and especially when you get a narrow and a green that's running pretty slow, if you can get your front ends in pretty early, that's always our mindset too. we know this is going to be narrow and tight. If we can get in this first, it's going to be hard for the opposition. So
yeah,
me and Dylan took that mindset just between the two of us, and I think we did pretty well with it. So yeah, it was nice to win it, man. Especially last year was the last champions of Zone 6. Now we're the Hunter Valley Bowls region, and we're the first champions of that. So
very good,
pretty good. Good day for Club Milton City. And the seniors, they had 3 semi-finalists.
Nice.
They did. Yep. Clay Parker had to go and play against the Curry side, but he was able to get his side up. And then we had George Nizick against Maxie Wilton in the semi-final, and Georgie got his ring up. And then Georgie led 13-5 in the final.
Yeah.
Didn't score again.
Ooh.
And it was Michael Beaumont was on that one too.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was an interesting one. But Clay Parker again just turned back the clock.
Can't play.
A lot of bowling arms being used in that final too. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 players using bowling arms.
You're definitely seeing them around the greens a bit more often now, I think, DJ.
Clay Parker let a stat go on Saturday morning because there was a certain well-known player from Talara Bowling Club, Mr. Wayne Lambourne, was having a fair whinge about bowling arms and how much of a cheating stick they are, which I'm not going to take anymore. Like we've actually tried to change that in the club. I've told anyone if I hear you calling it a cheating stick anymore, we're going to have words.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bowling arm.
I don't think that's right. Yeah,
and I've always done it with a couple of the guys that I'm close with at the club just to G them up and stuff. But it's becoming too much mainstream language, I think. I mean, there's so many more people in the game because of it.
Yeah,
and I would honestly say at Club Milton City alone, in the last 12 to 18 months, we would have close to 25 have gone to it.
Yeah, right.
That's $25 potentially lost to the game.
Yeah, in
12 to 18 months if they didn't have that apparatus, mate. So I know we didn't intend to talk about that, but I will advocate for the bowling arm.
I totally second that, DJ. Like that's the main point of it, is that you're going to lose bowlers because they can't deliver a bowl or they can't bend down, and why not just let them use a bowling arm, and they're going to continue to play bowls and be competitive. And like I had a guy, our regional fours, led up against me with a bowling arm. And he played just as good as I did, gave me a run for my money. So people can still compete even if you don't have that perfect delivery and bending right down and delivering a bowl. And maybe the greenkeepers will be a bit happy too, DJ, that nobody's dropping them from the hip.
That's the next thing I was going to go to, because there's a few clubs up in our area, and we have, obviously with the facility that we're looking at putting in with the carpeted greens, we have sort of put a warning out to some of our players and said, look, you may have to go to this because you're going to cause a lot of damage to the surface that is going to be irreparable, you know? So, I mean, I'm an advocate for it. I'd rather see brown shoes and suspenders banned before a bowling arm, to be honest. Them players, anyone, and left-handers. You come up against a left-hander in brown bowling shoes and suspenders. Are you
getting at Ali Forsyth again?
No, he doesn't wear brown shoes and suspenders. Stop it. I mean, I get in enough trouble. Don't you go putting words in my mouth. All right? But yeah, and you come up against a left-hander with brown shoes and suspenders and probably an age of, 75 in the shade. You know you're in for a tough challenge.
Yeah.
What's coming there. But yeah, leading on to that, I mean, as I said, there was eight finalists all from City. Clay Parker's team, Mark Unicum, Paul Chapman, Mal Solomons, and Clay Parker got up there. So we've got 8 of us travelling to Ballina next year.
Nice, DJ.
Finals. So
nice.
Yeah, should be a good weekend away, mate.
So well done to year 4. Like obviously you need 4 guys to play well when you get to the pointy end of a tournament, DJ. Yeah. So well done to year 4 and everyone else in Maitland City who brought home the chocolates at the weekend. So glad to see at least one of us was a winner.
Yeah, that's it, man. So what have you got left to come?
I think our region we've got the singles is left, but I did not enter the singles.
Didn't enter the singles. Yeah, we've still got triples, which I was able to take out 2 years ago, so I wouldn't mind taking that one again. And yeah, singles, that's in November. I'm not a big fan of the singles anyway, but I'll be back home then anyway, so I'll not be playing on that one. So we won't be facing off in the singles. In fact, we won't be facing off in anything because you're done and dusted.
No, that's it.
This is a bugbear of mine too, and this is where I go back to one of our podcasts.
Yeah,
we've both played regional events on the same weekend, but we've both played different events. Why can't we be playing the same event? Why can't we know all 16 qualifiers this weekend?
Yeah.
Why can't Bowls New South Wales just say, like, you're playing it? And Newcastle's playing pairs at the minute.
Yeah, okay.
So there's 3 regions that they're playing on that weekend, but why can't we just all play the same event? Like, and then we know.
Listeners, if you haven't tuned into those earlier podcasts, we mentioned about, regions not playing the same, even states playing different formats at different levels.
Yeah,
like we don't have consistency in our sport, and that's
central
one thing.
Central entry, so we know right out this weekend, statewide, we're playing the same event. And we're going to know the 16 qualifiers. It would make it easier in the office too, surely to goodness. Andrew Lynn sitting in there taking results, going, right, oh, okay, let's open the Hunter Valley Bowls. Right, we've got the fours winners, happy days. Right, oh, let's go to wherever you are, Metro, South, West, East, whatever you are. And we go, right, okay, well, we've got triples this time. Right, oh, okay, yep, let's go to Greater Newcastle. Oh, I've got to go to the pairs now. Nah,
I know you're just thinking about the people in the Bowls New South Wales office, DJ, making life easier for them. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, as we seen last week with that job advertisement, I'm not too sure they're paid enough.
True. So,
especially with some of the flack they have to cop from a podcast.
Speaking of Bowls New South Wales, DJ.
Speaking of Bowls New South Wales, Simon, yep.
Some news on the horizon.
Yep. So we did sort of allude to perhaps they were holding certain team selections back until our podcast was released, and I don't think we were wrong because we recorded Tuesday night, and then the teams for the Nationals were released Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So they were. So the New South Wales Blues have named their side. So we'll go through them all. So the women's side first, the women's open side, we've got Kate Matthews from Raymond Terrace, Kate Walker, Tarrant Point, Anne Johns, Engadine, Natasha Van Eldick skipping that rink from the Terrace, Jodie Frood from Port City, Sam Ferguson, Brianna Smith and Dawn Heyman, Olsen Johns Park, and then Sarah Boddington from Foster, Jessie Cattell, Cabramatta, Kay Moran, Fig Tree, and Jamie Lee Worsman also of Cabramatta. That's the women's, pretty strong women's side there, man.
Yep, definitely.
So there is. On to that men's, and this is the one that we were sort of keenly looking at as to what they might do, and they have made one change. So you've still got Cody Packer, Corey Wedlock, Aaron Tees, Aaron Wilson, Nick Cahill, Peter Taylor, Carl Healy, Lee Schreiner. But the big inclusion then is Mason Lewis coming in, having not played against Queensland or Victoria. Brett Spur, David Ferguson, and Ben Twist. Any thoughts on that, mate?
Nah, look, I can see the point of, Mozzie Mason wasn't available. He was on holidays. So, yeah, look, it's hard on the guys that did play in those tests. And not maybe, I don't know personally how they went, but, you feature in those tests, you think you got a good shot of making the Ollie Shield side. And to be dropped out for somebody that didn't play in those would be a pretty hard pill to swallow from a player point of view. But I can see it from the point of view of, look, Mason Lewis was in the team last year when they won it.
How long's he been in for? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people that are whinging about it, I 100% agree with you. I'll go a little bit harder, though.
Yeah.
People that are whinging about it are purely isolating this on the last 3 months where there was 2 test series played and Mason didn't play.
Yeah.
Because Mason was unavailable for whatever the reason was. He's almost a stalwart of that team. He's a specialist lead in that position.
Yeah.
Like he's been in the New South Wales team for how long? As you said, he was in that unreal team last year.
Yeah,
and
that was unbeaten.
Let's face it, dropped 1 rink, and that was by a shot.
Yeah,
so let's face it. If all of those players were still available, in which they were, and you didn't have the Cahills, the Packers, and things like that, that are coming into the state, right? Who are jackaroos, who can't get overlooked.
Yeah,
all right. No matter what way you look at it, unfortunately, it's not a political vote as such. But how is the New South Wales selector going to turn around and say he's not good enough for New South Wales, even though he's in the Australian team?
He's in the Australian team.
That's where it gets tough. And a few people have missed out for that. And a mate of mine's missed out for that too, and I feel for him. But you look at that side, that's red hot.
It is.
But Mason, you could argue that because he was unavailable for those couple of tests, he doesn't get in. But you look at his performances over the last, it's not just a flash in the pan. He's been in there for 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, years, playing in that lead position and going well at it. To me, someone had to go and play well to take that spot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Daniel Hill got a crack at it. Got 2 cracks at it at Queens in the Queensland series, and Jay Bruce had a crack in that position too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. From that, they've laid on to Jay By Norris having a crack, even though he hadn't played lead in a trial or lead against Queensland. They give him the lead spot there.
Yeah.
And he admitted to me himself, talking to Jay, because I've got pretty close with Jay since he's moved up this area. Like, he admitted himself he didn't play as well as what he could have done.
Yeah.
So if he knows that himself, you got to go and make that spot your own. And Mason's not here. You've got a chance to take that.
Yeah.
So I have no issues with that. Anyone that does have an issue with it is pretty close-minded, I think. And there's a bit of I think there's a bit of a loyalty there too, but you have to perform well to get that loyalty at that level too. So like I said, it's a red hot side as it is. There's a lot of competition. So I personally don't have an issue with it. So
no, and you go on the reputation of Mason as well. Like Mason's played my region for a long time. He's been skipped a rink at Engadine and performed like at the highest stage, like club level as well, and at regional level too. Like I was lucky enough to play with him a few times in our regional side, and like he constantly performs on the green and produces fantastic bowls. So as you say, it's hard to look past that.
That's his spot, so it is. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the seniors, mate. I had to read this earlier. This is brilliant. This is one of the best senior sides I've seen, I reckon.
Yeah.
Paul Williams, Michael Clark, Peter Taylor, and Robbie Warren.
Yeah.
Brian Suckley, Paul Jobson, Mick Beasley, and Warren Shipley. Interesting one there. Mick skips at club level, and Warren plays third at club level. However, the state selectors have gone the other way around. Interesting. Terry Warder, Steve Ashdown, Rick Roper, and John Green.
Johnny
Clay
Green.
Parker, side manager as well, who's playing well, as I say, he's at Clement City. But that is a senior side and a half, that one.
Yeah.
The women's senior, Carol White, Joan Thomas, Mary Grant, and Christine Myers. Claire Kelly, Lee Benson, Cheryl Douglas, and Wendy Clark. And then Carolyn Glenn, Marianne Purcell, Betty Herbison, and Sharon Renshaw. Absolute legend of the game there too. Moving down into the juniors, the under-18s. Jasmine Smith has got the singles in the girls. We've got Reese Finn Young and Jasmine Smith in the pairs. Zoe Davis, Ella Cameron, and Channel Chakuch. I think I still don't know how to say that one, in the triples.
Yeah.
And then Zoe Davis, Ella Cameron, Reese Finn Young, and Channel in the fours. All right. They've also got a B side up there. Shows you the strength and depth in the New South Wales.
Good to see, DJ. Yeah.
So you got Annabelle Teague in the singles. You got Talia Kennedy and Charlotte Heyman in the pairs. You got Sophie Payne, Annabelle Teague, and Tarni Ingram in the triples. And you got Sophie Payne, Talia Kennedy, Charlotte Heyman, and Tarni Ingram in the fours. And you've also got Maddie Hazel and Shakia Murray, who are representing a New South Wales and Queensland composite side. So the talent coming through under 18 level in the girls, red hot.
Yep.
Don't have that many there. On to the boys' end, Travis Moran in the singles, no surprise there.
Yep.
In the pairs, Jacob Aiken and Travis Moran, that's a pair side for under 18 level out there, isn't it? Triples, Cooper Dart, Xander Weber, and Tim Thorning. And fours, Cooper Dart, Xander Weber, Jacob Aiken, Tim Thorning. And then there's a New South Wales Queensland composite side there too. So well done to Cooper Fleedner and Sam Rich, who have been picked for that. Then we get the all abilities, and we've got Gail Schultz and Carolyn Nelson in the open pairs for the women. And you've got Gail Schultz and Carolyn Nelson, as well as Michelle Campbell and Vicky Parkinson, like two pair sides. And then they all play the singles as well. So they do. It says open singles, but then it's got Vicky Parkinson. This is a skip. I think there's been a copy and paste there, not an edit. Bowls New South Wales, check your webpage. And in the men's end, so we got a point pairs, 14-point pairs, which is Jeff Seaton and James Reynolds, Michael Vasallo and Aaron Kelly. You've got an open pairs, which is Ryan Wood and Anthony Brown. And you've got the B5-6 singles, which will be Jeff Seaton and Michael Vasallo, and the B7 and B8 singles, Aaron Kelly, James Reynolds, Ryan Wood, Anthony Brown. Obviously, those Bs represent the type of ability that they have. So I'm not up to date with all those, but obviously they've segregated them out to say, you're this, you can play in this section, you can play in this section. So good luck to all those New South Wales Blues. Obviously, Absolutely. As two born and bred New South Welshmen, mate, we're proud of them people that have been selected.
Most definitely, DJ.
They go on to represent our state at the Nationals. Yep. So good luck to all those. Absolute honour to be able to represent your state of birth or choice in some cases. But yeah, awesome for those people, for all of those teams. So well done, good luck, and I'm sure you'll do New South Wales proud in October at the Nationals. Speaking of Nationals, there was also some Australian selections during the week. Simon, did you see those?
I did see a few. There was one or two names that I was glad to see on there.
So Australia have been invited to the Oceania Challenge in November. It's a week-long event in New Zealand. It's a gold tier World Bowls event as well. So they've asked, both Australia and New Zealand have been asked to send some development players to it. So they've selected a team of 5 women and a team of 5 men. So well done to Kira Bork, Kate Argent-Bowden, Sophie Kurzman, Chloe Morrison, Sam Atkinson. And in the men's, Jack Lewis, Jack McShane, Joey Clark, Cohen Litvin, and Beau Prideaux. Quite a New South Wales feel about that men's team, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely, DJ.
In fact, a Sydney, New South Wales feel.
Yeah.
from that there. So they're going to play across singles, pairs, triples, and fours disciplines. So well done to Kira and Jack, who got the singles berths. We got Sam Atkinson, Kira, and then Joey Clark and Jack McShane in the pairs. Obviously, Joey and Jack, the current Aussie Open pairs champions. And then triples for the girls, Sophie Kurzman, Kate Archin-Bowden, and Chloe Morrison, Bo Perdeau, Jack Lewis, and Colin Liffin for the men. And then teaming up again in the fours, Sophie Kurzman, Kate Archin-Bowden, Chloe Morrison, Sam Atkinson, and then Joey Clark, Bo Perdeau, Jack McShane, and Colin Liffin in the men's fours. So good luck to all those representing Australia. I would imagine because it's a development, they don't get a cap for that, but it's certainly a taste of it to drive them on to try and get a cap further down the track.
Most definitely, DJ. Yeah, well done to all those who got selected, and as you say, to even just get involved in that kind of thing. If they do or don't, if they don't get a cap, okay, but even to be involved in that kind of stuff, DJ, that's a huge stepping stone forward to maybe even bigger things. Yeah,
well, they've obviously been touted for higher honours, which is why they've got to look at them in the green and gold, because obviously plenty of players around that can perform at certain levels, but they put that on and suddenly a different type of pressure, and they may not perform. So you got to bring these people through, and this is the way of doing that. So
yeah,
well done. I wonder is that what New South Wales are doing with Jack, because they haven't given him a run yet, and he's in red hot form. Right, mate, getting out of Australia for a bit just to stretch our legs. We'll go overseas to Scotland. And there's an Atlantic Challenge going on over there at the minute.
There is,
4 teams have converged on Ayr Northfield. Absolutely beautiful part of the world. Some of the best greens in the UK. Team from Scotland, team from Ireland, team from the US of A, and the team from Canada, men's and women's, have all come over to Scotland to play across singles, fours, pairs, and triples. So I had a quick look at that. I mean, did you have a quick look at any results at all during the week? Or
I did see there is a couple of names on the Ireland team, which we know. Well, I know very well, and had a quick look at some of the results, DJ. But I think the results have been updated. I think you got more updated ones than I did when I looked earlier.
I think they've been updated, but again, another bugbear of ours, mate. Professional sport that we've got. I want to run through this on our world-renowned podcast and keep people up to date, but I'm not too sure the spreadsheet's up to date. But anyway, they've had 3 sessions on the Monday. They're now 1 session into the Tuesday. Alrighty, so I think overnight on the overall table, Canada led from Scotland, then Ireland, then the USA. Okay?
Yeah.
It's currently showing, though, that Canada are in first place with 31 points. Scotland are in second place, also with 31 points. And then Ireland are third place, but they've got 33 points. So I'm thinking from the results from this morning that they've actually updated the points, but not updated the positions automatically. But yeah, anyway, just a quick one, mate. So the women's singles and fours was played Monday morning. USA versus Canada. Okay. And that went to Scotland. And then the singles for the men and the fours for the men also went to Scotland. So they got the win over the USA. Scotland and Ireland, looks like Scotland got the win in the women's singles and the women's fours. Ireland, they also got the win in the men's singles, but Ireland got the win in the men's fours. So they did. So it looks like there was they're playing sets play in the singles, but they're playing normal in the rest of the disciplines.
Interesting, DJ. Yeah, I don't know about that.
What?
I think if you're going to go traditional, stick it all traditional. Don't go sets play for one discipline and traditional ends for the rest. Yeah.
What?
That just adds confusion, I think, DJ. So I think...
Well, man, I'm a very intelligent fella, and I'm confused at the minute, so there you go.
Yeah.
Moving on to session... Go ahead, sorry, mate. What were we going to say?
Look, I think... Yeah, with regards to the sets play and that and the scoring system, the updating of the results, there's a few bit of room for improvement, what do you reckon? Yeah, well, you've got a little bit to say in it when we get on to our next competition. We're going to talk about, don't you? So we'll hold that one back. But yeah, mate, I'll stop there with the results because it is getting confusing. But the teams anyway. So Scotland have got Mark Kelsey, Jason Banks, Dan Gormley, Gary Prunty, and Connor Milne. In their women's, they've got Dee Hogan, Dawn Anderson, Rebecca Houston, Beth Riva, and Lynn Lees. Not to be disrespectful to any of those, but that definitely looks like a development side, considering the talent that they've got over there. Canada, you've got Cameron Lafrance, Mike McNorton, John McDonald, Rob Law, and Cody Altoff. And then you've got Jordan in the women's, and you've got Jordan Koss, Linda Nang, who is a representative. I've seen her name before, Joanna Cooper, Bailey Van Stuyten, and Emma Boyd. So again, there's a couple of big names there, like obviously Kelly and
Ryan Bester aren't in that. So
Yep.
again, but it's a lot for them to fly over from Australia to play in that type of event.
Yep.
Ireland, Sturdy Bennett, Mark Foster, Stephen Kirkwood, Adam Rankin, and Ian McClure. Ian just plays in everything, doesn't he? He's just a legend.
There's an old head DJ, isn't he? Give a bit of advice to the younger ones.
Like that? What's he? Is he trying to prove himself? What? Women's singles: Zoe Stratton, Hannah Cochran, Sophie McIntyre, Zoe Manish, and Sandra Bailey still going around as well. That's the Irish team. And the USA team: Bill Bright, Daniel Gorlick, Corey Voss, Scotty Marzoni, Bob Schneider. And the women's singles: Joan Robbins, Martha Nilsson, Dee McSparren, Joanne Hedgepath, and Sandy Wall. And for all those players that just got named, not really household names, but you're welcome. You are now, because you've just been mentioned on our podcast, and you are now famous. So
that's it. Famous across the whole of Australia.
All credit to DJ Dilworth and Simon Little. We will take either a verbal thank you or a written thank you. We'll leave it up to you. Simon at thebowlsacademy.com.
Thanks, DJ.
Shameless plug. Speaking of that email, Simon, you did get an email, didn't you, about our next event?
Yeah, so the next event, DJ, which probably that Atlantic Challenge probably is a lead up to this event, which is happening next week. Which is
also happening in Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also in Scotland, so it's probably a bit of a warm up for a few of those countries playing in the European Bowls Championships. DJ.
Yes, thank you to Ralph de Roich.
So yeah, we got a email from Ralph, who plays for the Netherlands, and he got in contact with us. Loving the podcast. Obviously, DJ, you can clearly listen to me. Don't know about you, but loves the podcast.
After listening to the last couple, man, I can't argue. I'll have to do something.
Loves listening about what's happening in Australia, DJ, and loves to hear how we sort of run things over here and how things are done in Australia. But he's competing next week for the Netherlands, and we might see if we can get him on the podcast, DJ, see if we can get a bit of an insight into one of the, say, smaller countries of our Bowls members, being the Netherlands.
I'd love to hear from the Netherlands is how that goes,
Well, like, I don't know about you, DJ, but I've got zero knowledge of Bowls in the Netherlands.
You get zero knowledge of Bowls full stop sometimes. Sometimes I speak to you and I'm thinking, what is going on here?
So hopefully we might get him on after the championships. We'll see how it goes, DJ, and get a bit of insight on how the championships were and that, and a bit of insight into Bowls within the Netherlands. Interesting to see the comparison between the Netherlands and Australia, DJ, in terms of Bowls.
As he says, there are currently less than 500 players currently playing in the Netherlands. So just shows you. It was definitely an interesting email, man. It's nice to get stuff like that, isn't it? Because we don't get a big lot, but when we do, they're pretty good. So it's nice to hear from Holland. So good luck to you, Ralph.
Absolutely, Ralph.
If you play any of those Irish, just make sure you knock them off. All right, get into them.
So DJ, this Bowls Championships within
European
Europe.
Championships, yes, mate. Did you go and research it for me? So did you go and have a look? What's the format? Where are they playing? How are they playing? What's the website say?
That was in my head, and I've seen a few posts, DJ, on social media. I think World Bowls posted about it. I think Bowls England posted about it as well. So I thought, I'm going to have a look at this. It's bound to be a website. It shows me all the fixtures, live streaming. I'll tune in, I'll watch it, see what time it's on at, with the time zone.
Yep.
There was a link to a website.
Yes.
Go to that website.
Yep. What is it, man? I'll look it up now. What is it?
Coming soon.
Bowlseurope.com. Bowls Europe Limited coming soon. So
you get the buzz of this happening.
We're promoting the sport.
But there's no website with any fixtures, who's playing, what time is that, what's going on. Disappointing, DJ.
It is. Well, I'm sure it's something they can work towards. At least they're trying.
Yeah, but I did manage, DJ, to find a bit of an article that gave me a little bit more insight into it. Yep. So, European Bowls Championships run from the 2nd to the 8th of September. Nice. And as we said, it's at Scotland in Ayr.
Ayr Northfield, yep. Lovely.
Yep. The plan is, this is only the second time it's run, I think, under this banner.
Mm-hmm.
May have been something similar run, DJ, in the past, maybe under a different banner, different format. But this is only the second year that this is being run. So plans are obviously to make it bigger and better year on year. And it states here in this article that they want to have live scoring, live streaming, alongside with additional ideas, and working alongside with Bowls Scotland to make it bigger and better year on year, which According at the moment, you've got 18 member countries competing in
Nice.
the European Championships.
Nice.
So that ranges, from Cyprus, Czech Republic, England, Falkland Islands, France, Guernsey, Hungary, Ireland, Isle of Man, Israel, Jersey, Netherlands, good old Ralph, Scotland, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, and Wales.
Nice.
So,
I was going to say 18. I don't think I'd be able to name 18 nations that played bowls, eh?
Yeah, well, and there's a total of 181 athletes competing in 11 different disciplines.
Nice.
So
Falkland Islands is an interesting one, mate.
Yeah.
That's closer to South America, so that's a fair trek for them.
So with those amount of member nations and players competing, DJ, apparently it will be the biggest bowling event in the Northern Hemisphere.
Nice. That's good to see it's moving up then.
Good to see that hopefully year on year that can actually attract more players, and potentially if there's more member nations, maybe those smaller nations that aren't putting people into it, maybe they'll think twice about it and
might start doing that, yeah. Maybe.
Start doing that. Good to see something. Obviously, maybe they can work on their website, DJ, but
especially when we're trying to get in the Olympics, give us something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's disappointing, man. Like, it's easy to sit and criticize. We are spoiled with what we can do and what we have seen out here, but yeah, like it doesn't take much to do these things nowadays. So if you're going to go, do it properly. But yeah, it's as you said, Ralph's pointed us in the right direction, showing this thing's on. We're looking for something to talk about, and we go to the website and it's starting next week, and we've got nothing to show for it. So hopefully it pops up there pretty soon, mate. Or hopefully we find maybe Bowls Scotland will do a Google Sheets like they're doing for the Atlantic Challenge, and hopefully keep it up to date.
It would be nice, DJ, if there is a bit of live streaming, and it might look from what we've spoken in previous episodes. Look, it's probably, and we spoke before off air, that it's probably going to boil down to Bowls Scotland. I would reckon it's going to be doing the live streaming. So hopefully they do some live streaming, and let's all keep an eye out on YouTube and Facebook and see if something pops up next week, DJ, from the 2nd of September, whenever those kick off. Because obviously all our listeners out there, jump on and give it a watch. Like, the more eyes we get on there, the more chance we get sponsorship for events like that, and attract more people to our sport. So obviously anything that can help promote bowls, and especially in those smaller nations, DJ, around Europe that are competing in that. Let's and
there's ranking points up for grabs too, because it's one of those world tier events that World Bowls have brought in, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So there's points available for players. So yeah, let's we'll keep an eye on that, DJ, and see if we can maybe tune into a few of the games. Hopefully we can get a bit of live streaming going, and we'll see how the results go.
Hopefully it's a bit better than Guernsey. What do you reckon?
Yeah, fingers crossed. There's no fishbowl effect.
I will deter there too and go to the Irish Cup, mate, because they live streamed the Irish Cup final back at home.
That's right, they did. Yeah,
it just looked to be one camera set up at the side of the green, so it wasn't the greatest. Look, I didn't sit and watch it all. I wanted to see what the score was because, as we mentioned a week or two ago, I may have poked the bear a little bit back at home with one of the top clubs, and they were in that final, and they didn't win that one either. Who did? But Portrush. Well done to Portrush. Now, Portrush, famous for producing Ian McClure, Jeremy Henry, Gary McCloy. Never won, well, from what I can see, never won the Irish Cup before, mate. So for Ian McClure to still be there, let's face it, he would have had offers from all the top clubs, big clubs like Broadbeach, for instance. They seem to recruit everybody.
Yeah.
But, mate, a champion team beats a team of champions, because you got to have that cohesion. You got to have people playing for the shirt, people that have been there all their lives, fighting and battling for it. And Ian McClure is certainly one of those. I did send him a congratulations message after seeing they won it, mate.
Yeah.
And he places that pretty highly in some of his list of achievements. Now, as a man that's got Commonwealth Games gold medals and played for his country for 1,000 years, that shows you how much that little club means to him. So, well done to
Portrush.
Moving on, mate, another event coming up next week. We had a bit of a look at it, but I think we'll keep some of this for next week, and that is the Broadbeach five-a-side.
Yes.
I haven't been lucky enough to play in these events, mate, but you have. What's your thoughts on five-a-sides?
Five-a-sides, DJ, I think they're a great competition. I think it's that playing all the sort of disciplines side by side, when you're playing singles and fours next to each other, on the rink next to each other, and pairs and triples together at the same time. It definitely brings a different element. to the game rather than just one-off game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept, like I said, I haven't played it. You have. You've been more experienced there. But from watching it, looks an awesome concept. We've dabbled with the idea of going into it. Just hasn't suited some of our players at the time. I was sorry to see the New South Wales five-a-side fall away after only 2 or 3 goes. Like, I think that's the type of event that we need for promoting the sport. As you said, it brings something different to the game. What's your thoughts on a national five-a-side?
I do think that would be a great idea, DJ. Finding the time in the calendar might be a bit of a sticky point, but if we had if BA run a national five-a-side tournament, how good would that be?
You hit the nail on the head there too. Like, BA needs to run that, don't they?
They do.
You can't rely on the clubs. Like, Broadbeach are obviously doing well. There's teams from all over Australia coming to it. Yeah. The BA need to get on board on that, surely.
Yeah, it'd nearly be like a stepping stone event to the BPL, DJ. Because the BPL is a bit of a closed shop. It's franchise. You have to have a franchise.
Yeah, 100%.
And having a national five-a-side tournament would kind of then showcase maybe some of those fringe players that maybe just not making it to BPL or on that greater stage across the country.
But giving those players a chance to play for their club. Like, I know, as you said, BPL's franchises, all right? Now, the franchises are pretty much all linked to a club or to an association, but some of them players aren't from those clubs.
The players aren't necessarily from the clubs.
And there's a lot of international flavour there too, where they fly people over. There's still potentially the position for that to have marquees. I know Broadbeach allow marquees, so you could bring them over if that's what you want to do to increase the event. But it would just give clubs the chance to play for a national title instead of just a state title.
Yeah, and
logistically, it would be a nightmare trying to do it in a pennant format, and we all play different pennant formats.
Yes. So
we all do, but you put that, as you said, into a five-a-side. You've only got 5 players to get across the country, perhaps if it's in Perth for us or for Perth to come over here. And then you've got the different formats that everyone plays: singles, pairs, triples, fours.
Yep.
And we all do play different versions of it, but we've all played different versions of it. Like, there wouldn't be a version out there that'd be new to us unless you go to the English Bowls Federation, probably. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
So that would work better than a pennant format. And as you said, play it over a week. Everyone plays each other, knockouts. I think it's a great concept, and it's one that I'd said, and perhaps there's room for it in terms of the event. Fitting it into a calendar, like what's that? What we were just looking at off air, there was probably about 6 events then perhaps the Bowls Australia need to run.
Yeah.
So it's another week of a calendar that they're going to take up. But the thing is, it would be a week, and it would be a week of the clubs that want to play in it.
Yeah.
And the smaller clubs aren't going to enter it, but it's an elite competition, so the smaller clubs aren't going to really win it either. Yeah. So I don't mind if it's, the top 20 sides from across Australia.
Yeah.
And there's 3 from Perth, 7, and then, 7 or 8 from New South Wales, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I'd love to see that.
I think that'd be an awesome thing. Obviously, DJ, it would boil down to there need to be some substantial prize money involved. Where does Bowls Australia get the prize money from? Sponsorships, things like that. There'd be a lot of ins and outs to work out in terms of getting that run, but to see something like that on the calendar, I think it'd be a really good event to showcase as an Australian national title kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just straight to it. Like we talked about potential ways to run it off air. Like, just go straight to it. Just whoever wants to enter can enter. Put your players forward that you want to enter with, and then BA can decide how many teams they need or whatever, blah blah blah, and go from there. But yeah, it'd be a nice concept to see, mate, to have a club national title. Because that's where we all start. We all start at a club. You want to win for your club. Like we just said about the Irish Cup there. Like we loved playing in that back at home because it was a national title for the club that you're from.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'd be an interesting one. Hopefully, I wonder if BA will pay attention, mate, and listen to you, because nobody else listens to me. So it'll be interesting to see if they like that idea and how they run with it. Andrew Howie, if you're listening, Simon at thebowlsacademy.com. Oh, dear. All right, mate. Moving on. I think we're done with that. We'll talk a bit more about Broadbeach next week once they've actually starting to get underway and all the teams are announced. I think there's 28 teams all up, but I've only seen about 18 on the website, so we'll not just touch on it. We'll look at that next week and have a bit of a run at who might even, Mr. Predictor might come out next week and predict the winner of Broadbeach 5-a-side.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mate, a bit of bit of a shock or some sad news popped up this week.
Absolutely.
With Henselite. Henselite in the last couple of days have gone into voluntary administration.
Yeah.
So, have you got their
Big
statement
news
in front of you there, or you want me to go?
I think you've got it there, DJ.
Yeah,
I'll
I've
let
got
you.
it. So, late last week, Henselite Party Limited was placed into voluntary administration. The company is not in liquidation or closed. We want to assure you that during this period, it is business as usual for us. We are fully committed to continuing to manufacture and supply high-quality lawn bowls products. We are hopeful that this will be a short process with a good outcome for the business and into the future. Our team remains dedicated to supporting your needs and ensuring that your experience with Henselite continues smoothly. Thank you very much to all our customers for your continued support and understanding. So obviously, as soon as it came out that the voluntary administration was there, rumors were circulating, they were closing, they couldn't afford this and that. So, well, obviously, there's certain things that they can't afford, otherwise it doesn't get to that. But yeah, voluntary administration, mate, what does that mean? Basically, they're going to have to get all these people have come in to try and save the business, I suppose. So the directors have handed over control of the company. What happens now? Well, they've got effectively 25 days to work out what they do and try and save the company. So, from my experience, there'll be a meeting coming up of all creditors. These creditors are obviously people that are owed money from Henselite, or whatever it is, they're owed something from. That's where they're creditors. But they'll have a first meeting together and decide whether they're happy with that administrator or if they want to replace it. They'll form a committee that will then make decisions on what happens next. So then that committee and the administrators will all get together and look at potential outcomes for the business to try and save it. Then later on down the track, within that 25 days, they've got to have that second meeting where they will decide whether it goes back to the directors or whether they accept some recommendations or whether they effectively liquidate, which would mean selling everything off so that they can afford to pay things. So, pretty heavy and pretty sad
heavy
from my part. Not currently a Henselite Bowls user, but Henselite is bowls, and it's bowls in Australia as far as I'm concerned. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I'm not a Henselite Bowls user, DJ, as well, but it's pretty sad that one of our prominent brands within our sport is on the verge of collapse, really. And as we mentioned in a few podcasts previously, that a lot of tournaments and events that are held worldwide within bowls or within Australia, a lot of them are sponsored by brands.
Yeah.
That's the one thing with our sport. It's like a insular kind of thing that we buy products off the brands and then the brands support us back.
Money
it's
back
like
in the sport.
It's a big circle and the money there's no external money coming into our sport. So if we lose one of those brands, DJ, that's effectively a big piece of the pie that no longer is sponsorship money for events and running different things. So sad to see if that's the case, to lose one of the brands. And as you say, it's a very nostalgic brand within Australia. And also, we were talking about it off air, DJ, that I started with a set of Henselite Classic Deluxe way back when I was 12 years old.
That was the bowl at home. That was the bowl at home. Like, I just know, like I said to you, I started with just a little set of Hallmarks or something when it first began because they were cheap and we can get into it. But as soon as you start going up through the ranks and you see some of the players, even just at our own club, I got Irish Internationals playing at our own club, and Henselite Deluxe was the one that they were playing with. It was just Henselite. And we've always sort of knew that bowls in Australia was where everyone wanted to be. It was the pinnacle, and Henselite obviously led that charge. Henselite was Australia, Taylor was Scotland, Drake's Pride was England. It's a bit of a shock, man. Very sad to see. Travesty if we were to lose the brand. Absolute travesty, and that's coming from, as we said, two people that don't use the brand to play with. Yeah. But it's an absolute travesty if we lose Henselite from the game of bowls, I think. So hopefully they do the right thing and they can come to a solution. But obviously they're there for a reason too, but man, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, DJ, that you can't really rest on your laurels as a business, DJ. No. And this obviously something like this doesn't happen overnight.
No, it's not. Like this hasn't. Yeah, the administrators didn't get the phone call last Wednesday to say, "Can you come and have a look at us?" Because we had a bad month last month.
Yeah. So it's not that they didn't sell enough bowls last month that all of a sudden we're going into voluntary administration. So obviously, something's went a bit awry over a period of time, and hopefully, things can be sorted out and maybe pointed in the right direction, DJ, and we keep that brand. Or worst case scenario, DJ, maybe somebody out there will step in the last minute and rescue Henselite.
Yeah. Well, we don't know the depths of this. Like,
no, we don't.
As soon as you hear voluntary administration, it's not good. But yeah, it's certainly it just basically means they're trading insolvent. Effectively, they can't afford to pay their bills, so they've got to work out a way to do that. So the business model is obviously, it hasn't changed enough to adapt to what's come up. It'll, be that the changing dynamic of bowlers, be that the extra competitors in the market now, like we talked about earlier. There's obviously just been some, I don't want to say mismanagement as such, but there's been some decisions probably made behind the scenes that haven't been beneficial to the business. We don't know, mate. We can only just sit here and surmise and start rumors. Just basically, like you said, it's going to be a pretty interesting month in bowls, I think. We have to see what happens with Henselite. As he says there from reading that website, 25 days is the mark. So in a month's time, will we still have Henselite, or what will happen? So
yeah, it'll be interesting, DJ, and we'll obviously keep listeners updated if we hear anything around the traps, DJ, and hear what any results of the next 25 days, and hopefully it can be sorted out and we can keep that brand, DJ. And I think it's more so you got to look at it from our sport point of view, not so much as people think, oh, didn't really like Henselite anyway, or didn't like this or that, or I'm a Drex Pride guy, or I'm a Taylor guy. You got to look at it from the bigger picture, and losing a brand from our sport will be a bit of a sad thing, I believe. And
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
Sponsorship point of view and different events, I think that's going to be a bit of a kicker, I think, for our sport.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty passionate about it. Like, there's a few comments there. I'm scared to read them because you know what some of the people are like, and I don't take that too well. You know what I'm like. So I haven't read any of the comments. I'd hate to see anything negative said about it. I really would. Just sit back, watch, see what happens, and hopefully they can get it sorted out, like we said, mate. So, yeah.
There's definitely room for all the brands, DJ, that we have there. And losing one's probably going to be a pretty sad thing. So hopefully they can sort it out, DJ, and or somebody can step in at the last minute and rescue that Henselite.
Rescue that brand, yep, hopefully. Speaking of brands, mate, the TBA, Bowls Academy. Yeah. Them practice targets. Hot commodities off the shelf, but there's more coming. Do not fear the general population. There is more on the way. Jump on the website. Get your pre-orders in. Guaranteed in the next, month or so, Simon, maybe slightly over. They will be ready to go.
Probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I reckon, DJ.
New and improved, Simon?
New and improved, yes. Slightly better. And we're going to put a couple more in the sets as well. So you're going to get a couple extra. And, jump on there. Free delivery within Australia, DJ.
He loves it. Love it. So,
yeah.
And a few other things in the pipeline, folks. Just remember, like, we're having a lot of fun doing this podcast, but it was set out for me and Simon have a bit of fun, but also to promote that TBA. So please support the website, thebowlsacademy.com. Lots of nice stuff on there, a few instructional videos, and Simon has got a lot more in the pipeline coming. So keep your eyes on that, folks.
Yep. We've got a few more things coming. We've got a skills and drills library coming up, DJ. So you'll be able to jump on there, and anything you play at the weekend, you go, I just didn't nail my weight control, was terrible. You'll be able to jump on there, have a look at weight control, and there'll be skills and drills to get you improved in that area. So there'll be a vast array of different things coming up in terms of that skills and drills library. Some fun team games and things like that if you're doing a practice session with a few of your mates down on the green. Scenarios as well, DJ. So that'll be good to get that going, and that'll be coming up in the next couple of months, DJ. So
yeah, nice. Make sure you share that on all your socials, folks. # make Simon a millionaire. No, you're doing well with it, mate. There's not too many more people passionate about it, mate. Hopefully it does take off, and we can help that out with this just little piece of listening pleasure on the internet with the What a Load of Bowls podcast.
Good on you, DJ.
So that's it for this week, folks. So thank you again for tuning in. We will be back next week with a few more things to talk about around the traps with the Broadbeach 5-a-side, I suppose, those European Championships. If we can get a website that works, we'd like to tune in and see how that's going. And again, Ralph, thanks for getting in touch. We'll be in touch again. We'll touch base, see if we can get an interview set up with you, mate, just to see how things go over there in lovely Netherlands. But as always, folks, keep that little disc on the inside, and we will see you again next week.
Good luck on those greens, folks, and we'll catch you next week.